Hey there folks, this is GreenXI, welcoming you right back to Let's Play Higurashi. This is episode 177. In the last episode we went through and saw the reasons for different fragments and Rika's thoughts on it all, I guess. And then it unlocked leftover fragments. Do you need the final miracle? Let's get going and see how this turns out. I'm thinking this will be the big conclusion. What is this? I never noticed this tiny little fragment. Sometimes a fragment gets cracked and it breaks, just like how the fate we believe in cracks sometimes. A damaged fate is no longer the same fate it was. Then which fate does this piece belong to? I picked up the tiny fragment and tried to match it with fragments I have in my hand. And the last fragment I picked up was the Himatsubushi fragment. This fragment was distorted from the beginning, and look. See? This tiny piece fits perfectly. With this tiny fragment, how will the world change? What kind of miracle will occur? A new one? The whole world warped. Since I put the broken piece back where it belonged, the distortion centered on the crack. But that doesn't mean I can't take a peek inside. It's already past 1985. It's a time long after Rika Furude and her friends' stories tragically ended in June 1983. Beep. With some mild interference, an order crackled through their headsets. All units, the chief has a message for all of you, so listen up. Good work everyone. The local police have given us 15 minutes to wrap this up, but I'm only giving you a few seconds. Don't let a single person escape. The main target is a diplomat. Don't let him suspect you're a cop, just grab him. But make sure you leave no injuries. It'll lead to problems if you do. They're dirtbags who hide under the diplomatic community to deal with the local gangsters. They launder money from drug dealing and force people into the sex trade to pay off high interest debts. According to the local embassy, some of the victims are younger than teenagers. Shitbags. Normally this would be a simple case, what with the perpetrators being gangsters. But when the police found out that a foreign diplomat was involved, things got much more complicated all of a sudden. Diplomats have diplomatic immunity, so the police can't arrest them. But they knew he was an important figure in the whole scheme. There was no doubt that he was the middleman between the foreign criminal organization and the Japanese gangsters. They couldn't let him escape. It'd be easy to deport him, but that wouldn't solve anything. The police had asked the embassy for assistance, but they denied the request, and the case was put on a standstill at this point. That's when they found out that the organization was going to be selling the Self-Defense Force's classified radar and missile technology secrets. The Public Safety Division then had to move on the premise to protect this classified government information. And today was the day that operation was set to go. 2 men at the front stairs, 2 men at the underground entrance, 4 men at the back door. All suspects are believed to be armed. 2 more than usual, huh? It'll only take 2 seconds more for him. He never shows anyone mercy. Can you hear Akasaka? You're on point. Be careful. Okay, let's move. This is Akasaka. I copy. Let's go. Ooh. Why an Akasaka bit? Oh my god! Actually seen him. Have we seen him before? I don't know. A man suddenly appeared around the corner downtown. It was Akasaka. He displayed none of the naivety that he did when he first met Rika. When he got to the entrance of the underground club, a bouncer with a heavy foreign accent stopped him. This place. Members only. Do you have a membership card? Akasaka pulled a card out after being asked. It was a card that was very difficult to forge, so they could only get one. As the man on point, he was the one to receive it. The bouncer let Akasaka in after confirming he had a membership card. Akasaka-san passed the bouncer at the entrance. He's going down the stairs. Come on, Akasaka. At the bottom of the staircase, there's an overly decorated door like the ones you'd see at a high-class club. The venomous glow of the cocktail lights lit it up, silently warning everyone it was an entrance to a den of evil. Welcome! May I see your membership card? The guard at the entrance took the membership card and put it through the card reader on the wall. Beep! An error sound. Slight perspiration could be seen on Akasaka's forehead. The guard swiped the card a couple of times more. Beep! Beep! Akasaka-san is having a problem. Did they change the system? If Akasaka's encountering trouble, we'll change plans. Secure his safety pronto. The expression on the guard with him steadily grew dour. His right hand reached inside of his jacket, probably fingering his gun. Ding! The buzzer suddenly rang with a delightful tone, and the card reader flashed a green light. Immediately after that, the lock on the door opened up. Thank you for waiting. Please head on inside. The guard pulled his hand out of his jacket and opened up the heavy door. Loud music and flashing colourful lights spilled out from the inside. From within that, a well-dressed guard appeared to welcome Akasaka. At this moment, his first mission was accomplished. Having acted as the go signal for the remaining units, Akasaka was also in a dangerous position of being in enemy territory all by himself. The door was the biggest obstacle for the ambush. The door locked automatically, so whenever it was closed, it was also sealed that way. It was a solid door, and nearly impossible to open from the outside. Somebody had to not only open that door, but keep it open for several seconds in order for the raid to begin. Akasaka was the only one who could do that. This is Akasaka, entrance secured. Go, go, go! The complex on the other side of the club was getting a new tenant, and there were 2 trucks parked in front of the building. But of course, that was just a disguise. The door to one of the trucks opened, and several dozen plainclothes investigators jumped out. The same thing was happening at the back door too. The ground level guards noticed this and began to draw their guns, but were taken down immediately by nearby investigators who had been pretending to be innocent bystanders. Several dozen investigators quietly went down the underground stairs. These narrow underground stairs were another obstacle to their operation. Everything would end up on the security camera. Their raid would become known within a few seconds. For that matter, a push on the security button would make it impossible for the lock to be opened from the outside. That's why they had to secure the door before the ambush. The guards on both sides of Akasaka noticed the loud footsteps coming down the stairs. The well-dressed guard also realised that something was wrong. The 3 guards shifted their attention from Akasaka to the stairs behind him, and as he sensed that attention shift, Akasaka took a quick, deep breath and stopped breathing entirely. The 2 guards standing beside him suddenly rose into the air in strange positions. Akasaka had determined his position relative to the 2 guards next to him, so he didn't need to check with his eyes. But even so, his fists had been driven into their faces with such precise accuracy. His moves were well-trained ones, and showed no mercy against evil. They were as destructive as armour-piercing ammunition. And furthermore, Akasaka had retracted his arms at the same speed he struck. Everything looked so strange in the flashing lights. The man who witnessed all this probably couldn't figure out what had just happened. The 2 guards were up in the air in strange positions, and the man who had been standing in front of him was now crouching low. Then that frozen moment shattered. The well-dressed guard was smashed into the ceiling, and shortly afterward came crashing down onto the floor. Later on, while slurping liquid food, he would desperately try to remember whether it was a fist or a leg that broke his jaw. He would probably never quite recall it. Rather luckily, the way his body fell blocked the door, so Akasaka didn't have to hold it open any longer. This is Akasaka. I'm going in. But wait for your backup. Akasaka! The room was filled with loud music, but everyone had already noticed the brouhaha at the entrance. I don't know what I mean. The disturbance. Everyone get down! As soon as Akasaka bellowed his warning, screams filled the club. Most people immediately hit the floor as if trying to proclaim their innocence. But all the guards reacted quickly to Akasaka. In the midst of all this, there were a few people who were trying to make their escape through the back alongside several guards. Akasaka restarted his breathing once, and then stopped it again, and then ran after them like a wolf. He jumped up onto the table, smashing expensive bottles of alcohol, and scattering glasses with ice cubes made from the icebergs of the Arctic. A foreign bodyguard, whose previous profession must have been a professional boxer, thoughtlessly stood in front of Akasaka. With a heavy accent, he tried to taunt his opponent, but Akasaka couldn't have cared less about that. The only display that man was able to put on for him was that he was able to block Akasaka's attack. But it wasn't even an effective guard. The power of Akasaka's punches was so incredible that they simply broke the man's bones in his attempt to block them. The man's arm warped in a strange way, and the moment after the agony showed on his face, Akasaka's left arm ground into it. Akasaka, you see, is right-handed. That man should consider himself grateful that he was able to get away with a mere orbital fracture. Thinking that this was his chance, another man attempted to tackle Akasaka's hand from behind. He assumed that no matter how strong a man was, he'd go down quickly when attacked from behind. He also assumed that as Akasaka was concentrating in front of him, he wouldn't be expecting an attack from behind to begin with. But that would only be true if Akasaka was just concentrating on his front. Indeed, the attacker was very wrong, for Akasaka was no longer even thinking about the man before him. Akasaka knew exactly when and what was about to happen. The experience he has built up to this day taught him that. His body, more than his mind, remembered the timing for when menaces to society like these would make their move from behind him. Akasaka's attack continued fluidly from the left arm punch that he struck against the ex-boxer. His left arm retracted, and at the same time, he arced his left leg around beautifully as it crashed into the man approaching him from behind. A dull sound signified that his nose had been broken. But Akasaka already knew that. Akasaka continued his motion and directed a decisive right blow to the side of his assailant's head. The man slammed into the wall and bounced off of it, rolling on the floor. Akasaka took another breath. Under the glare of the dazzling club lights, the guards realised they were up against a demon. Yes, they realised that there was no way to take him down. The guards were being paid to deal with humans. Fighting demons just wasn't in their job description. At that moment, backup finally arrived. Maybe finally isn't a suitable word. Everything that happened did so over a matter of seconds. I was going to say that was pretty quick, probably. The time it took for Akasaka to take down those 5 guards was a span of merely 2 breaths. I'm thinking like Kill Bill. Put your hands above your head and get down on the floor. If you resist, we'll open fire. Thanks to Akasaka's furious action, the flow of events was already set. Akasaka's intimidating first strike shattered the gang leader's will to run. They rolled down on the floor, but one of them began smiling. You shouldn't touch me. It'll lead to an international incident. Akasaka grabbed him by the collar and threw him against the concrete wall. Aren't you a policeman? I have diplomatic immunity. I'm a diplomat. Good for you. So how much did you get paid, huh? This will be an international incident. I'll be calling the embassy. With a dragon-like roar, Akasaka's right fist pounded the wall right next to the diplomat's head. Immediately after that, his left fist pounded the wall on the other side of that head, and soon enough Akasaka had pounded the wall 7 times, each just a sliver away from the diplomat. His fists were easily powerful enough to crush the man's head. The diplomat crumbled to the floor. Haha! This is Akasaka. Target secured. Further investigations discovered a secret getaway route that even public safety didn't know about. Dozens of Soviet military-grade machine guns were found, and if Akasaka hadn't stopped them there in the club, they would have escaped, or even worse, the operation might have ended with a brutal death toll on both sides. All thanks to how well Akasaka executed his duty, the operation was completed without a single shot fired. Come on, hurry, the local police will be here soon. Put them on the truck. Since a foreign diplomat was involved, they had to make sure it didn't look as though the whole operation was carried out by the police. Instead, it was made to look like a simple gang war. They would dump the useless gang members and hand over the target to the police. Of course, before handing them over, they'd make sure he spilled everything he knew. That diplomatic pig would be used as a negotiation device by another part of public safety. They found plenty of evidence that said pig was tied to an underground criminal organisation. Not wanting a persona non grata on their hands, I'm not sure what that means, the embassy would likely cut all ties with him. The rest would be the business of other departments. Public safety's job was to take care of the things regular police couldn't deal with. Akasaka, you okay? Come in, Akasaka. This is Akasaka. We're on our way. You've done it again. Report to the chief to get reamed out later. Akasaka-san, you sure are a demon. 5 men within mere seconds. That's not even karate anymore. Your fists should be recategorized as lethal weapons. Sure was lucky that none of them drew their guns though. Knowing how brutal Akasaka-san is, he could have turned them into honeycombs. Shut up. Don't make me sound like an assassin. I show no mercy against evil, that's all. The pigs he just caught were no average criminals. They committed so many unforgivable sins. The strength behind of Akasaka's fists were proportional to those sins. The heavier their sins, the more powerful his blows would be. Come on, round them up. Akasaka, make them hurry. The local police will get here quickly. This is Akasaka. Understood. Didn't you guys hear? Hurry up. Roger. Come on, we have 5 injured here. Please have meds ready. There wasn't any trace left of Akasaka's old naivety. He'd grown to be the vigilante ace of his department. Oh, okay. Yeah, he seems to be doing well. I mean, this is a bit weird that it's all after the main story. And there we have it. That's the midway chapter point. I know I ended off here just because we've been having a lot of long episodes in this arc, so it might be good to have a shorter one, to be honest. So this has been Greeny XI. I hope you've enjoyed this little episode that's been seemingly different from the main story. Thanks again for watching, folks. See you again in a bit.